and was out of commission. Oh, maybe I should turn you on. There you go.
There we go.
This is live radio. Hey, Robert, you want to talk on the radio now?
I guess so. Like that little light. I'm glad we have like this super mics here with the little, professional.
The light that tells you when the mic's on that I never look at.
I know, and I couldn't hear myself in the monitor. I need music in the monitors. But yeah, that's the thing that we're here in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the studio. I know I joke a lot about the studio, but I like it. Like we could do this show anywhere, but I'm glad that we're doing it here because it just adds an air of adultness.
It's professional,
to
right?
The show. Well, it's not. I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. I mean,
I think you're doing too much right now.
My studio at home's coming along pretty good, but I can't go around dropping like $300 on a mic every other month. You know what I mean?
I just spent $100 on an arm, dude.
Yeah,
like on a desk stand. Yeah, I got the from one of the. I don't want to even get close to doing an ad, but it's like one of the major. It's one of the major mic makers, and then finally, because I was like, well, I can spend $30 on garbage and have it break in a couple months.
In 2 months, you need a new one.
And then maybe if I spend, 4 times as much, it's gonna last, longer than a year. So hopefully it is. It's actually funny the setup because my desk is so weird. So it's like the arm's nice and articulated and it clamps really good. I could drill a hole in my desk if I wanted to and like permanently, but I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. As soon as you do that, you decide like, I want to put it somewhere else actually.
Yeah, exactly. But like my desk is weird to where it's thin on the side. So the little clamp doesn't go up far enough. And so I was like, man, what am I going to do? I actually had to take one of my my pandemic toys that I got. I got into the roller skating craze, and I bought myself a pair of roller skates.
Oh,
so nice. I was roller skating. I was like, how everybody cut their own bangs during COVID. I roller skated.
I painted my nails during COVID.
Yeah.
So.
And so I took one of the roller skate wheels, and then because I actually bought I have street wheels and I have rink wheels, and I just used that to like prop up to clamp it to the desk. So I was like a roller skate wheel.
Do you know if the roller girls will run it again?
Yeah, they are.
I used to go to those games every now and then. That was pretty fun.
No, they are. I don't know if they're at UNO anymore, but they definitely are. They were out at that running of the bulls.
I remember that.
I went to that. It's just a good excuse to drink. And it's like the crowd's really nice. It's not like Red Dress Run, which the charity Red Dress Run, pay your money or whatever and have a good time. But
travel here and stay in an Airbnb or whatever people do.
The
like all
worst people on earth. Like that is, if you talk to people who work in the quarter, I used to be one of those people.
No tippers.
It's the worst people. Well, here's the thing about the Red Dress Run. Why it's actually...
That was like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, no, it was like a month ago. Why it's the worst thing on earth is because, 90% of the people showing up for that thing aren't giving money to not the Red Cross, but whatever. It doesn't matter. They're not giving money to that thing. They're not running the 5K or the 10K or whatever they got. They're not even It's just, I'm a dude and I'm going to wear a dress and be in the French Quarter.
Isn't that wacky?
Isn't that wild and funny?
And then like
in the year of our Lord, that's supposed to be, in the year of our Lord 2022, that's supposed to be somehow shocking.
The interesting thing about that too is that like when the dudes that do the red dress run like wear the red dresses,
they're gonna steal my thunder.
They're gonna try and act more macho.
My man.
Yeah, okay.
We did not talk about this. This is right off the cuff, and I was gonna say like
they try to like make up for all of like wearing a dress, which is just like whatever, and try and be like super extra.
Exactly. You stole my thunder, and I'm glad you did because I'm not the only one to think about that. Because no, that's exactly what it is. Is that these dudes? So they think it's so crazy to wear a dress, and I'm like, first of all, you're in the French Quarter in New Orleans. You could do this.
One of the gayest places on earth.
Yeah, you could do this 365 days a year, and no one's going to care. No one's going to look at you twice. 2, now that you got the dress on, you gotta act super tough with a dress on.
Yeah,
I've never almost like every time the handful of times I almost got into a fist fight with somebody in the streets of New Orleans, twice was because dudes in dresses, and I'm like, I will knock you out, and you're gonna look real dumb.
You'll be knocked out in a dress.
They're gonna take you to university in that dress. So play with me, and like I hate it. I hate it so much, and people are just hammered at like noon, and it's hot, and they're just puking on the street.
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
always in the middle of summer.
But whatchamacallit, but like, You would think that the running of the bulls has the same vibes, but it doesn't.
No, because you have beefy women on roller skates whacking you with foam clubs.
I think there might be like I don't want to say a feminist
like
angle,
they can actually target people that are getting out of line and whack the crap out of them.
Yeah, and I think that like it kind of self-regulates. I don't know. I mean, it's just
there's a dynamic there. I mean, the show is about the bulls. You know, it's about the women that do it. So
it might be a little too early for them people too, because I'm out there like 6 drinking.
Yeah,
and like it's. Cool.
I never go to these things.
We should go next time. We should go, and it's done.
Right? We could do a live show out there.
Pretty funny. But yeah, so the thing I'm like most in New Orleans is Red Dress Run. Running of the Bulls, and I like Tet. I like the Vietnamese New Year out at Queen of St. Mary.
This weekend is a very New Orleans specific thing.
Going to that,
it's
I know exactly.
It's Decadence Fest.
Oh, you talking about Decadence? Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about the Morgan City Shrimp and Petroleum Festival, which sounds like something out of Fargo.
That's true.
But it's a real thing that exists.
That's this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to go to that today.
Oh, okay.
Just to goof around.
Oh, I guess you're not coming to the barbecue then. Okay.
Oh, that's today?
Yeah.
Oh, I might. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what time my wife actually wants to wake up. She has a lot of, she says a lot of things.
Yeah,
she said
true.
she's going to do a lot of things, and then that doesn't happen.
Well, anyway, but yeah.
Talk about Decadence.
Decadence is, I mean, what is there to say? It's like the weekend where the LGBT, folks come and they party down. It's great.
Right. It's like
they had a pretty cool rainbow fleur-de-lis that they put on the street recently. I'm sure that there's corporate sponsorships or whatever to that. Who cares?
I don't know. Are there? Because like Decadence is like
it's a little bit revolutionary.
Let me call my queer friends and just live I'm just gonna hit queer on my phone and just get them on the radio right now. Because the thing is we have it's completely different from Pride where
it's not as corporate. Definitely not as corporate as Pride. It's more of a party.
I could be completely wrong about this, but Pride is more of like a family thing. And then Decadence is
it's a party.
We out here at the Phoenix, yo. This is not please don't.
Just when I see
Boy, I came home late last night. I came home at I was out at the bar and I came home at 3. And I passed by on Elysian. Them boys were out there.
They're partying.
At 3 a.m. outside the Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I was just you better slay, you better work. I'm good for y'all. Make it happen.
But I guess when I see like street art that gets positive mainstream press coverage, I'm instantly is this corporate stuff or is this legit art by people that are human beings? You know what I mean?
I think for that big fleur-de-lis, it's going to be kind of both.
Yeah.
I'm sure the city's not paying for that. I'm sure it's
I got to look into it.
Capital One or something stupid.
It's cool regardless.
Yeah. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. I had to school people. Literally, this is barely hyperbolic. I was at work and they were having some kind of the meeting, the city meeting for Pride a couple months ago, and people couldn't understand why they didn't want the police at Pride. And I was and literally my boss goes, Robert, what you playing? Oh, you got other things to do, Jeff? Oh, we got phone calls. Hello? What? We have a phone call on the air right now, live. This is wild.
Yeah, what's up?
What'd it do? You want to share with the class, Jeff?
Hold on. I got Mid City Martha on the phone. I wish I could plug you through.
What on earth?
But it's created by who?
Oh, we're getting live updates on the fleur-de-lis. This is exciting. We never get a phone call. I didn't know we had a phone
Wendell
here.
Brunian, son of I'm sorry. Yeah, so Brunius, okay. And it's totally straight up legit street art.
What? I guess you can get a permit for anything in this city, right? Isn't that the joke that the guy who took down Cosby had?
With his brother,
I can hear her.
Okay. Yeah, I did not know that. Thank you for that, Mid City Martha. Anything you want to add in?
Turn it up and put the...
It's always great to listen to you guys. I'm usually in the car running errands. And, I'm on at 4, so I try to tune in all day Saturday. And I love your show. Thanks for everything you do, Jeff.
Thanks, Martha. We got to have you back on sometime. Former guest of the show, friend of the show, Mid City Martha jumping in.
Sick.
Good talking to you. All right. We got to figure out how to patch these calls through to the board. We're going to figure that part out, too.
This is hot.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Let's pimp the line. Let's do the phone.
Well,
Whatever, man.
I actually don't have the number. Well, here it is.
there,
Yeah,
right?
504-623-9448. Not 504-623-WHIV. Yeah, you can call in, but we don't have a way to patch through, unfortunately. But we can kind of just
hold
roll
the
with it.
receiver up to the phone.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I don't care if we got to get.
You can hear her? You can hear when I did that?
Yeah, I can hear it.
All right,
it was
cool.
fine. Yeah, so I was like, just turn the mic up and let it rip.
But yeah, Martha's cool. We've had Martha on the show, remember?
I don't remember.
A long time ago. I believe we were talking about like immigration and like a lot of the ICE detention centers and like support for that. It was probably 2 years ago. This was prior to COVID, 2.5, 3 years ago. We did the interview with her in the studio in the front in the front area. You, me, Aaron, and Scott might have been here.
Awful. I don't.
That's
remember.
like
I don't remember
old time. Like that's like old time. Good Morning, Comrade.
I know two Marthas. I remember two Marthas. There is there's my rest in peace, my Labrador Retriever as a kid.
Rip.
And then there was a Martha I knew when I was in America when
Yeah.
I first moved here, and I was like in love with her.
Yeah,
she's so crunchy and cool, and like I wonder what she's in the city.
But yeah, check out Mid City Martha today at I think she said it was 4, right here on WHIV. Martha rules. We love her. But anyway,
Decadence.
Decadence.
So yeah, I could be completely wrong. And again, queer citizens of New Orleans, please call the WHIV dedicated
hotline
at 504-623-9448.
That's 504-623-WHIV.
I could be completely wrong, but I've just always assumed that like so decadence is like don't bring your kids around here, please.
Not in the same way
we
you
trying
would
to do
ride.
the thing. Not like I mean it is what it is. It's because my
like the people that make arguments against like kink at Pride, like I think that's still ridiculous or whatever.
Right.
But like you're never gonna stop kink at decadence,
bro.
It's never gonna happen.
Can we? Yeah, let's. Did you have an agenda? Did you have?
I did want to talk a little bit about
Because I was like, I could talk about the. I've had that whole drag queen
off,
thing on
go
my
off
mind.
on that. We could talk about Jackson not having any water later.
That's cool. But so the guy what were we talking about? Oh, Pride. So, because my buddy who's the best man at my wedding, and then his husband, like they don't go to Pride. They don't go to Decadence because they're like it's too much. They doing too much. We too old. And I'm like, I get you. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was just fun. It was cool to like, yeah, I saw all the boys out there last night when I was coming home from the bar, and I was like, damn, it's really popping out here for Decadence. And I don't know, like I've been watching a lot of that. You saw the John Brown Gun Club in Texas who defended the drag brunch from.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, you haven't seen that?
No, that was recent?
Yeah, it was like last week. So
That's awesome.
there was like actual Antifa, God bless the troops. There were they were trying to shut down an all ages these chuds, these right wing reactionaries.
Yeah, there's been a really weird sort of like anti-drag like reactionary movement recently.
Well, that's
which, like drag has been around forever.
That's because it's culturally relevant and it's not ha ha ha. It's the whole argument of the reason why that happens. And again, I don't mean to speak for like queer people.
And these people must have never been to a drag show ever because it's like it's just literally just people singing show tunes.
Well, it can be dirty. That's the point. But you're not doing that at like an
not
all
the ones that kids go to.
You're doing that on like Monday night at midnight at Always. You're not doing that on like. You're not doing that at 10 a.m. on a Sunday when a kid's eating like a stack of pancakes.
If kids are there,
at
that
Hamburger
stuff ain't
Mary's,
happening.
dog. Yeah, that's not happening. And so the thing is, I've been watching it. I watched that, and in Texas, they tried to show up and be like, "You're grooming your kid, you're grooming these kids," and blah blah blah. Well, John Brown Gun Club, armed leftists came out and just like surrounded the bistro or whatever, the restaurant, and allowed this to like take place so that way they couldn't, and these people were shook. Like there's nothing that like shakes these people more than like leftists with guns.
Weren't they just like aren't they just exercising their Second Amendment right?
Mm-hmm. Well, no, it's Second Amendment for thee. I mean, for me, not for thee. That's how they rock. Like, ironically, the way to, I'm not like a super gun guy. I'm not like get all the guns, but I'm pro gun ownership. But ironically, the way to get, gun control in this country is if queer women and POC people just all armed up.
That's
all
where,
of a sudden they'd be like, oh man, we got to get. I mean, ask the Black Panthers.
That's where the gun control in California in the 70s came from. Ronald Reagan, because they had some armed black folks out there that were organized, and they were like, you know what, we got to shut this down.
But the idea of, I watched a video. I wish I would have told you about this earlier. We could have watched the video together. The idea that's so ludicrous to me. These people are screaming about like, you're grooming children by taking them to an all ages drag show, and it's like,
it's an all ages show.
Wait, let back up for a minute. Well, my argument is this: who do you think these kids are whose parents are taking them to this? Do you think they're just like, okay, little Breaston,
here we're gonna make you gay?
Yeah, like I know you were just playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare Vanguard, and you were just looking at your dad's like Playboy stash, but come on, we're taking you to the all. No, like you watch these video, like these kids are like obviously little queer kids, and they're so happy to be there, and they're just like they're so happy to be around their people, and maybe they won't kill themselves because they feel like isolated in the world, like everybody else has done before them. And the reason why drag is getting so much hate, like it's the hate on du jour right now, because it's no longer funny, ha ha ha. It's like, oh, this is now culture. This is now like it has been mainstream.
It's been normalized in a certain ways, even though it's still very funny. Ha ha ha.
The black ballroom scene, which isn't drag.
What is that?
Oh, you've never seen? It's like it's where RuPaul came up.
Okay.
Have you seen? We're the same age, pretty much. You've seen Madonna's video Vogue, right?
Long time, yeah. Millions.
She's talking when she says, "Come on, Vogue, let your body." We're gonna get copyright struck. She's talking
you sing that good that we're gonna get copyright struck.
She's talking about the black ballroom scene, which the idea we're gonna watch Paris is Burning. That's what we're doing for Pride. I mean, for Decadence. Paris is Burning. If you love documentary filmmaking and you're interested in queer people, like, well, we need to watch.
We can watch it on. Maybe we could do a watch along on.
We could try that, but we need to watch
on Discord.
We need to watch Miss Gay USA, and then Paris is Burning is like the unofficial sequel to that. Okay. But anyway, so the whole idea was they had drag shows, these balls where like queer men would dress up, in drag, and they would have, it was a beauty contest. And so the thing was they were racist, and they wouldn't let and you could come, but you couldn't win. And so what happened was like black people broke off from that and did their own thing, and it's a dance form. It's a form of dance. You've seen the Madonna video. I'm trying to think of something else where people Vogue, and you might have seen. I don't know. And then also they have, like runway categories of just like, okay, this category is serving femme realness. So it'll be like, how passing are you? It's like the whole idea of Vogue is like to try to look like a supermodel because you can never be. So we're going to have our own
So
runway model show.
What you're saying is that drag is not one specific thing. It's got a range of different things.
Vogue has some drag in it. It doesn't have to be drag.
Yeah.
But it has some elements of camp, the camp elements.
Yeah.
The point I was making is that because this stuff is so widely accepted that it's not funny haha anymore, is now it has to be attacked.
Yeah.
Because there's a band that broke up like a long time ago that I like to listen to called Gloss, and it's like a trans band. And they have a song called Future. I think it's either Future Girls or Trans Day of Rage. But she yells in the beginning of the song, she goes, you used to call us girls and laugh. But now when I say I'm a girl, like, that can't be or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. It's just like, no, we used to call you girls as a joke.
Yeah.
Like you actually can't like be cool and do this. And I feel like you hear my voice.
Which is just basically, that is just straight up calling out reactionaries on their BS.
Absolutely.
All it is.
You hear my voice getting elevated with this because it's like
very
I feel
passionate about it.
A lot of I grew up in the neighborhood, but more than that, I have a lot of kinship because I'm biracial, but I never use that word biracial. I always say I'm black, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black. So when people say like, oh, you know, like,
you don't lead with the biracial.
Yeah. If we're boys or whatever, like we can talk about that. But I'm like, I am black because that's how I identify. That's how the world identifies me. And as soon as you do that, like you can never, like black is, you know, there's so much racism, you know, throughout history and not even that long ago. And black was bad. Yeah. But as soon as you start like taking that identity and holding it as a shield and be like, I am black, people are like, oh, you're not really black.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Well, it's the same thing of just like, you're a sissy, you're a girl.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, I am. Oh no, you can't be that. I'm the one that dictates to you what you're going to be. Go ahead.
Yeah. Real quick, just jump in and talk about Clessy's restaurant. So support from WHIV comes from Clessy's neighborhood seafood restaurant and catering located in Mid-City, 4553 Bienville, New Orleans, home to reasonably priced catfish and shrimp entrees, beverages, huge TV screens, and outdoor seating. More information and menu can be viewed at ClessyCatering.com. ClessiCatering.com. Sorry, I interrupt you.
No, you're good. I'm pretty much done. I hope you're recording this.
I am.
Yes. So we got a good one on the thing. But no, I'm pretty much good there. I just have like very strong feelings about like people being marginalized about their identity, and especially it's like how you know, like we're gonna laugh at you for a thing that you do, and as soon as it becomes not funny anymore, we're gonna attack you for that very thing. You know, it's just like how it's.
And like, I remember
steal your culture. I remember they try to destroy your culture first, and when they can't do that, they try to steal it.
I remember, like, and this might sound like a little bit of a walk, but like, remember when Tiger Woods was really big as a golfer?
It's not a walk. I know exactly what you're
And like, there would be like 1 minute, like, oh wow, there's a black golfer now coming up through the ranks, and then all of a sudden. Like when he's like at the top of the sport, it's like it's actually not really black.
Exactly.
I mean, he's like part Asian or whatever.
He identified himself as Blasian, but that's fine. He can do that. He can make that distinction. But like, I think a better example is Barack Obama.
Yeah.
To where like Barack Obama identifies as black because that's what he is. Like you can't have like literally in this country you had the one drop rule. Like if I'm in any part of my my lineage is African, then I'm African and I'm excluded from this country.
I mean, it was even quantified and legal, like ensconced in the law, you know, quadroon, octoroon, all that kind of stuff.
But now that like you're the culture bearer and it's cool to be that, now they want to strip it away from you. Yeah. And that's exactly what they did with Obama. Oh, he's not the first black president. How are you going to deny his white mom? He's not denying his white mom. No, it's that's who he is. When you look at him.
And that is not to say anything about the content of Obama or what he delivered. Because, I mean, again, I'm an Obama sucks guy. So, I mean, and you are too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
but like we're talking about the specific component of it.
Right. It's not, this isn't like an identity that like I chose. This is an identity that I took out of the mud that people tried to stomp. I took it, I cleaned it off, I shined it up, and I wear it. And you're not going to take it back from me.
Right. That's exactly right. Well, anyway, speaking of the awful treatment of large quantities of black people in this country, Jackson, Mississippi right now is currently not have drinkable water, which is like it's becoming increasingly less uncommon in America for like large cities to not have drinkable water. Places like Flint, Michigan. I think there's a place in a town in Kentucky that also doesn't have water. Have you been keeping up with this at all, Robert?
With Jackson, yes. Yeah, Kentucky, Jackson. No, because that's only 2 hours from us, right?
Jackson, 3 hours. It's a little drive.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
If you go up 59, you know,
you have to. Yeah, I mean, when you hashtag cool country. I'm gonna get that trending. That's my little snark. But hashtag cool country when the government says you have to make sure you shower with your mouth closed.
Yeah. I love it. I love America.
But I don't know that much about what caused it. I don't know if it was just a flood or like school me on it, Jeff. I just know it's bad, and we live in a third world country with a Gucci belt.
Yeah. Well,
we're a broke boy country. We're hood rich.
Yeah. Here is an article from The Guardian. this is Dateline Thursday. All of a sudden, it's undrinkable. Why an entire U.S. city has no clean water. Now, again, shocked to discover that a city in America doesn't have drinkable water. Remember Flint? Mm-hmm. I'm like waiting, by the way, for like Biden to like go to Jackson and like drink some Jackson water. 30-year-old Kendrick Hart remembers the warning his father gave about Jackson, the capital of Mississippi, where they both still live. They need to do something about that water before it gets bad. Now the moment has come. The overwhelming majority of people, more than 150,000 in the predominantly black city, have now lost access to safe running water. Most had already been without drinkable water for more than a month, but flooding last weekend by weeks of rain further interrupted operations at the city's beleaguered main water plant. Currently, large numbers have nothing come out of their taps. And for those who do, it must be boiled before being consumed. So essentially, they didn't fund the infrastructure of the water plant water treatment plant to make the water drinkable. And so when that fails, then I guess you're just SOL, citizens of Jackson, Mississippi. The situation has raised questions about the impact of the underinvestment since white families abandoned the city en masse. It also suggests how extreme flooding exacerbated by the climate crisis will take a toll on infrastructure. I mean, like, first off on that point, that frame, like, yeah, underinvestment of infrastructure is one thing, but like, there's also what we've seen happen here when you think about what happened with the Sewage and Water Board, and they had all those big bills and they started talking about, well, this system that we've been running in the city doesn't work.
Right. How
do we sell it off to some private corporation and privatize this public good? Right. That's where I'm thinking this is going.
No, 100%. The idea again that you're not going to fund basic things like water and infrastructure that people have been screaming about for decades in America.
The only time you ever do it is when it's a public-private partnership. You know what I mean?
Is atrocious, and that it was done because of white flight. These people have been abandoned in the rural South. Just shows we're in bad shape, folks. Like the whole country. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know. I was reading something about Cuba, and I'm sure I've said this on the show.
They got drinkable water there.
Yeah, I'm sure I've said this on the show, or at least, I can't. We got a Twitch channel. We got YouTube.
We say stuff on a lot of platforms.
I say that stuff all the time. But it's like the idea that this little island who's been isolated from the world, whose only allies are like Venezuela. Their economic trading partners are Venezuela and Vietnam, two other countries that were ravished.
Formerly Brazil before they went fash.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know that. But these countries who've been like ravished by, the American empire and tried to make, subjects of the American empire. And that's their only allies, has managed to hold on. And it's not a worker's paradise down there. It's not anywhere near perfect. But being able to hold on to a standard of living that they have, and we are on the edge of environmental, economic, and infrastructure just complete collapse. It seems like every couple months, whenever people decide to sell, a bunch of shares, it just shows that like socialism is it's a better system if it's not a perfect system. It's a more sustainable system than capitalism.
And it's very funny. There's hurricanes hit Cuba a lot more frequently than they do the Gulf Coast, New Orleans, Houston, and other places in Florida. It's really interesting that when Cuba gets leveled by these very, very powerful storms, they might lose some housing and some infrastructure, but the deaths are nowhere near what they are here. It's not even close, proportionally speaking.
Man, it just makes me think too, because we've got rivers, and the rivers are overflowing, like you said, in Jackson, and it's like I was watching some documentary and it was about levees, and it was just like just building levees, just. The more levees that we build up in populated areas, all it does is just kick the problem downstream.
Yeah.
To
The
less
Ninth Ward.
populated. Yeah.
Or even
to places like Jackson.
Yeah, that's true too.
To like poor like places who are along the Mississippi River that can't afford to build a levee to kick the problem even further down the stream. Green New Deal sounds better and better every day.
It does, and like again, we could talk about that part, but
The Green New Dream or whatever.
the Green Dream or whatever. But like, yeah, I do think that there's some issues like with the way that at least some leftists and people that are pushing the Green New Deal talk about it, and liberals too. Like this idea of degrowth, like it will never get popular if we're talking like that. If we're talking basically like austerity in the name of
What do you mean by degrowth?
Degrowth is essentially like reducing, essentially rolling back like critical parts of the society, like to in the name of lowering carbon emissions.
Yeah.
And that's like the opposite of what needs to happen. We need to start building up new ideas.
I agree with that.
Up.
100%. It's like instead of saying we have to cut back, it's like we have to shoot for the moon.
First off, people aren't going to sign on. It'll never get popular if it's framed in a degrowth fashion. Even if the idea is a good one, and it may very well be, the rhetoric behind it is never going to catch on if it can be portrayed as austerity. You know what I mean?
I do. I see exactly what you're saying. I think the key would be
we've had enough austerity in this country.
Yeah, the key would be to, like you said, have like shoot for the moon, like have like a moonshot initiative of just like we're going for it all. We're gonna make some kind of have DARPA just start throwing ideas at the wall. Of this like how can we have fuel from?
It needs to be a priority instead of like the F-35, right?
Absolutely.
We could have spent how much was spent on the F-35? Like how many $1 billion? You might know. I
don't know. No, I'm not.
Are you familiar with this project?
I'm a numbers guy. No.
Are you familiar with what the F-35 is?
No, I mean I assume it's a fighter jet.
It's a
multi-role fighter jet.
It's a fighter jet that was like deeply invested in, like billions of dollars of money to like create new cutting edge systems to replace the current jet, whatever it is. And, they would have issues where it would poison the pilot because they had a faulty exhaust system, or it would be unable to use a lot of its instruments in the rain and all these other things. Just this massive investment on developing this new fighter jet, giving it to like Boeing and all these, development, weapons development contractors, just endlessly sinking money into that. And like not while, like we say again, the infrastructure that people actually need and care about and like depend on just goes straight to hell.
The last big debacle I remember was which I was in the Marine Corps for, was the Osprey that they couldn't get right. It was a VTOL, like hell. It was like a transformer. It was like a VTOL, like vertical takeoff and landing jet, and like not a fight like. I don't even call it a jet. It was, but anyway, it was a plane that had had rotors on it that could take off and land vertically. And the idea is like
a Harrier?
Like a Harrier with rotors. That was the Osprey. And
so how is it not a helicopter?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I know it's not in Microsoft Flight Simulator, so it doesn't exist. It's not real. But the idea that we have to have all this. Yeah, we're running out of enemies, dude. Like we don't have to gain air superiority against who? It's definitely not Russia.
Martin.
It's not Russia. What, China? To gain, I mean, I really don't know. Like, I think China has their generation is behind ours. I think I'm definitely trying to remember the last, because I am into avionics a little bit. I think they're a generation behind us. Russia is not even on the map, and everybody else we sell to. So it's like
they have the same stuff we have, or at least a generation behind.
So it's like, who are you getting air superiority over at that point? Like,
it's not about getting air superiority. It's about contractors making money.
It becomes more and more. It becomes harder to defend.
Yeah.
Like, well, why do we need this?
I just pulled this up.
Please do.
2 facts about the F-35. This is from Jacobin. Danica Katovich wrote this article. The article is called "The Government Should Cancel the F-35 and Replace It with Nothing," which is funny. 2 facts about the F-35 fighter plane are nearly universally recognized. First, the plane has capabilities never before seen in a fighter jet. And second, it's a complete disaster. At a record-breaking cost of $1.75 trillion in public money with hardly anything to show for it, the F-35 project is increasingly hard to rationalize. Even top government officials are now criticizing, posing the question, could the project be nearing its termination? If that happens, we must be ready to demand that no similar project takes its place, even though weapons manufacturers will do everything to get their power within their power to line up a new $1 trillion contract. F-35 project accelerated out of a similar boondoggle in 2005 when former Secretary Robert Gates terminated the F-22 program. The United States decided to buy more F-35s. This way, though, the F-22 program was canceled. Money would still flow uninterrupted from the Pentagon to Lockheed Martin. Based on the contract, it was projected that the United States would produce 1,700 F-35s by 2025. Now, due to engineering and manufacturing difficulties, these procurements are running extremely behind schedule. The project is also experiencing massive cost overruns with doubled maintenance costs. So it's basically like more expensive to buy them, more expensive to maintain them. They don't last at any, like again, even if you're making a military assessment from a, like, if money is not an object here perspective, like, this is a failure.
So yeah, this is just an obvious scam at this point.
Yeah,
like this is just NFTs for the government.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a solution to a problem that doesn't exist.
Exactly. Well, the problem is that Lockheed Martin doesn't have enough money, I guess. That's the only problem that's being solved here.
This is where I get kind of, I don't know, maybe my kind of, maybe being in the Marine Corps, I don't know. This is why I break with a lot of leftists to where I would say, like, okay, we're going to, like, a new multi-role fighter jet for what? Because I don't know. Like, I'm actually just shooting from the hip here, like I don't do all the time on this show.
Yeah.
But what I know about combat role fighters now, I know that the idea of, like, dogfighting, like you watching a movie, it's like Top Gun or whatever, even like the new Top Gun, where there's like, it's right on me, like, shit the missile lock. That does not happen. Like, they've got you like 20 miles away, dude, and they're launching on you. Like, that kind of dogfighting is over. So it's like that's literally, like, only happens in Top Gun movies. So that ended, like, in the 80s. So
it probably ended before that, honestly.
Probably. So there's that. And then the idea of, like, okay, who do you need supremacy over at this point? Like, again, with China and Russia, like, there's no attempt to challenge that by China even, right?
No,
they don't. China's doing soft power.
China's doing economics.
Yeah.
They're doing smart empire stuff.
Yeah. Not that they're great, but, like,
no,
they're not good. But
they're managing empire in a way that is much more sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they do drop, colonies or whatever, they drop infrastructure there. Like we don't do. We just decide to find a strong man. The United States does find a strong man. Tell them to just kind of keep the locals in order and give us an army and have them be a part of NATO. That's what the United States does. Like, they're doing empire smarter than the United States, no question.
But see, this is going back to the whole, like,
not making a moral distinction here.
I said 100%. I know what you mean. Like, China's doing the whole new scramble for Africa and, like, just throwing a bunch of money in Africa because they're like, that's where all the silicon is.
And they're not investing in, new...
Or not the silicon, you know what I mean, you nerds. You nerds.
Lithium ion and stuff like that. But, like...
the precious rare metals that make my PlayStation 5s.
Yeah. But like, again, they're not spending it on new fighter jets. They're spending it on infrastructure for those places, which, I mean, again, China's got a lot of problems.
A lot. But the idea of, this is why I'll break with leftists, to be like, okay, we want to spend money on the military. I'm like, human intelligence, signals intelligence. I'd be like, more spies, more listening posts. And if you want to, like, fund DARPA, like, I'm totally, if y'all don't know what DARPA is, I forget what the acronym's for.
It's a military, like, development.
It's a think tank. It's literally where nerds sit in rooms and go, wouldn't it be, and they just have, like, wouldn't it be tight if, that's the whole thing. It's the wouldn't it be cool department.
Whenever I think of DARPA, I automatically think of the Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I learned about DARPA. I was like, oh, this is real.
The DARPA chief. We got to save the DARPA chief.
It's actually Decoy Octopus the whole time.
I can't. Spoilers for a game that's 25 years old. Join us Wednesday, November 14th for our benefit fundraiser featuring Amigos de Samba at the Broadside. Come by and meet the WHIV force and enjoy Palanta Brazil broadcasting live from Broadside 7 to 10. Donations will go towards securing new equipment for the station, shoring up our broadcast facilities, and continuing to provide you with quality programming from New Orleans' only station dedicated to human rights and social justice, WHIV 102.3 FM.
Speaking of video games, Amigos do Samba. I see what you did there.
Yeah,
that's very cute.
I just read the copy, my dude.
Oh, I'm just saying that's what they're doing. Did you ever play that, or was that not a? Okay, so that was a. I think you could get it like on Switch or whatever, or on the Wii, but it was a Sega arcade game. Maybe because I think I was in the Marine Corps at the time, so I was in Japan, and like the Sega arcade had them, and it's just you play Samba, like you play maracas, and it's called Samba de Amigo.
Okay, cool.
So it's pretty good. Yeah, it was like Sega when they had their whole like every game. I don't know. It's not
like
just Sega.
Like a proto Parappa the Rappa.
No, I would say like they got into like the spectacle. Like if you went to a Japanese arcade, I haven't been to Japan.
What's an arcade?
2000. But if you went, like, it was just rows of candy cabinet fighting games, which, they, like, when you play two-player, you sit face-to-face, which is interesting. And then...
So you just have, like, a screen between you, or what's going on?
So, it's... Here, look at my phone. All the people on the radio. See my screen lock? Describe that to people.
It's a video game cabinet.
Oh, okay. But they're small, and you sit down at them. And so, like, when you're playing against, so if you and I were playing together, your cabinet would be on that side.
So it would be like a low angle so that I can look at you.
You can't really look at me, but like we're just sitting across from each other playing fighting games.
I can't see your fingers and what you're inputting.
And then the rest of the game, it's like Battleship. You ever seen two people play Battleship? Like that's how it'd be.
That's a good descriptor.
And then the rest of the games were just like these huge spectacle things of just like huge cabinets of like 50 different variations of DDR and Samba de Amigo and stuff like that. And there's horse racing simulators.
Oh, wow.
You ever seen that?
No.
So there's like...
I remember that there was like a Jurassic Park game a while ago that was like a rail shooter.
Yeah. Now, when you say a while ago, that's...
like 25 years ago.
But these horse racing simulators are crazy, dude. Like, you've been to like a racetrack, right? You've been to...
100 times.
Whatever you
Fairgrounds.
call it. Yeah, fairgrounds. So you know how they got like the closed circuit TVs or whatever?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but everybody, and like you've got your little, your little TV in front of you or whatever, and that's where you like actually like feed the horses on like whatever you grew.
What?
Yeah, so it's like you put your money in, right? And there's a card that comes out that you save your progress on. So you have a horse and you like feed them and you pet them and you train them or whatever. And then when you're doing all that, putting all the money in, and then when it's time to race, they're all on the big screen. So you've got these like Japanese salarymen would just be sitting, just smoking cigarettes, watching their horse.
So it's like an actual OTB.
Yes, except there's no money coming out.
It's just a game.
Yeah, it's just a game. It's so weird. Now there is, I don't know, because gambling is the laws are starting to be loosened. That's why a lot of these. As soon as Shinzo Abe was shot, they just loosened up all the laws. Well, that's why a lot of these video game companies like Konami and stuff have gotten into slots.
They gotten into gambling.
Like, yeah, you know how every time I see a Konami truck like rolling down the street, and I get like, whoa, where's that going? And I'm like, oh, it's going to Harrah's to put some more slots in. But because the laws are loosening, but they used to have. You couldn't gamble in all of Japan. So what they would do is on the pachinko, you've seen it, it's the vertical pinball where all the balls.
Would you like to play a game of Lucky Hit?
Yeah. And so the pachinko, how it works is when you win all the balls or whatever, you would go exchange that for a
token,
a
toy or something.
And then you could take that down like 3 blocks down and you could sell that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's
it's just like a para market,
It's so wild. That's how you cash out. But
that's awesome. That's like those are chips. Those are poker chips.
Absolutely.
That's what they are. The casino
metal
chips.
Balls. But yeah, fake horse racing, dude. It's a trip. I'll send you some videos of just people being really into their fake horse racing.
Okay, yeah, maybe we can watch that on Twitch or something.
Maybe we should just watch old arcade things. But yeah, we do have a Twitch. It's nice.
Twitch.tv/Good Morning Comrade Radio.
It's pretty good. But going back to weapons. I know we went all the way around. So I mean,
video games, weapons, they're connected.
I'm pro like the government like sitting around and being like, okay, well, who are our threats? Who's trying to do stuff? Like, let's get some signal
Any
intelligence.
state would do that.
Let's get human intelligence on the ground. And then I'm also pro like, hey, like, wouldn't it be tight if we had a car that just, I mean, like a jet that ran on, you know, pasta sauce and
sunlight?
Yeah, wouldn't it be cool? Like, try that out and see if it'll work. Because you don't know what'll come from that. Like, just a think tank of weirdos, or you know, you might get memory foam, or you might get you know, Skynet.
You might
go either or.
You might. I mean, literally, the internet is a military development
absolutely.
from you know the U.S. State,
you know, Tor
Department.
browser. Oh yeah, that's military as well.
Yeah. It's just gone through so many layers of abstraction that it doesn't seem like it is anymore.
No, but I'm not like, hey, let's all just turn swords into plowshares and like, no, but we have to be realistic about our threats.
But by the way, if any like super leftists like decides that they like are upset about the moral like origins of something or other, and they're posting about it on the internet, got them. Yeah, they care so much. But yeah, just have to be about like realistic about the threats that you face. Like the threat of, if you're worried about, you know, threats to America, Jackson, Mississippi not having clean, drinkable, potable water is more important than having air superiority over the South China Sea right now. Which you already have.
Yeah. So it's like that. You have to do order of operations. Like we can't let Rome rot from the inside while we're trying to secure its borders from all, you know, the outside either.
It's going to fall apart from the inside, and the predictable thing that if there's no investment in infrastructure and all these other things, there's going to be harsher police state type measures that are going to be used to keep people in line.
And I get it. It's not, you know, that's not what makes money. Like there's no clean there's no guy
capitalism.
There's no guy who's like Senator Huckleberry, who is sitting up there in D.C. and it's like, I got, you know, if I can survive 2 more elections, I can go get that job, that water law to be his job and be set
the thing
for
is
the
that
rest
we
of my
need
life.
we can do that when we have 100 Democrats in the Senate, you know, and actually when that does happen, you can't actually because you'll have, you know, instead of 1 Joe Manchin, you'll have 50 Joe Manchins. We get President John Fetterman. Yeah. And then we just... What do you think about this guy posting? I mean, like...
He's so based, dude. I'm glad that Brandon is trying to mimic him as best as possible.
Okay, so first off, who's John Fetterman?
He's just a big...
big boy.
He's a big based boy who can, like, fix your plumbing and then also... is going to be Pennsylvania Senator.
I don't know if he can fix your plumbing, honestly.
Do it, dude. You tell me John can't watch a YouTube video?
He is.
You tell me Big John can't watch a YouTube video,
He can watch
bro?
a YouTube video. He potentially
and figure out
could.
how to do it? He don't need instructions. He's the kind of guy to go to IKEA. Well, he don't even go to IKEA.
I will say that. No, I don't know. He is an Ivy League boy. I will say that.
That's fine. Education's good. But, like, you telling me he don't go to no IKEA. You telling me that he can't get one of them, like, sheds and build you a shed without instructions? He can do that, man. He wears shorts in the snow.
That's pretty cool. That is the coolest thing about John Fetterman.
No, but he's the future of the Democratic Party.
He's like a Bernie style, or at least he's styling himself as a Bernie type Democrat. He recently he's running for Senate in Pennsylvania, and recently he, while running for Senate against friggin' Dr. Oz, who is like the biggest weirdo person that like as far as like hitting a weird note, he actually is kind of like Trump in the sense that
He's a lot like Trump. He's a lot like Trump in the sense that he's just like he's a complete elite and we would spit on a working person before he even talked to him. But like the difference is that like is the comparison between like Dr. Oz and Trump is that like Trump is good at like at least faking some of it to the point where he can actually win people over, and Dr. Oz can't do that. And then Fetterman is like Trump in the good ways, so just like he's based.
Potential relatability.
He's just
doing the dozen.
If you're did Reagan say that? I can't remember, but if you're explaining, you're losing.
Yeah.
Like you attack and attack and attack and attack, and you never play defense. And it's like the Democratic Party
always
needs
plays
to
defense.
learn that. And like a good example is Brandon gave his speech the other day, and it was so dope.
Did you watch that?
I watched.
Let's
clips
talk about
of it.
that for the last 5 minutes or so.
It was so dope. Like,
what did he say?
He just said fascist bad. Some Republicans bad. Please be better. And then all of a sudden, everybody is pooping and peeing and throwing up all over.
Fox News has all the sirens going, breaking news.
And even
Joe
these
Biden
liberals,
has gone fascist.
these liberals are just like, I can't believe he had the Marines out there, and then the lighting was so red, and it just looked crazy. And these liberals are just like, this is not the message of a unifier. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. It's like, you know what I'm mad at Joe Biden about with that speech? When he's talking, he drew a line between somehow like MAGA Republicans, whatever that means, and normal like Republican voters. I'm sorry. I don't care if you voted for Trump and you support the Republican parties because of economic reasons and you don't want your taxes to go up. I'm sorry. But if you have, if you're sitting with 3 of your friends, so there's 4 people, and a Nazi comes and he sits next to y'all, you know what you have now? And nobody moves, nobody leaves, you have 5 Nazis. Like, no, I don't want to hear that. There's no separation. That party, Trump, that is who they are. And that's what Joe Biden needs to be saying. And I don't care about uniting with these people, uniting with people who want me dead, who want LGBTQ people dead. I'm not uniting with them.
The only way that you would ever work with them is if they're the ones that change, not you.
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%.
Because I mean, again, the defensibility of those positions that they dig their heels in on, and again, this is like largely, like, I don't know, this is largely a construction in a certain way of like the press and the liberal press and stuff like that. Because I don't know, normal.
But they're acting like Joe Biden just told me to go to the National Guard Armory and pick up my cachet.
Start smashing.
Like he called for the night of the long knives at Starbucks.
Which Joe Brandon would never do. He's like too much of a coward
I'm like,
to do that.
Come on, dude. And like the liberal media just falls right in line with this.
Yeah, it's like,
the president said something. The president said people are doing bad things and should stop.
Is this true?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we got a couple more minutes here, but I did want to sort of touch on one last point on that, and it really did annoy me. I think I might have mentioned this to you. And this is like, it pains me to do this because I'm a proud member of the Jefferson Federation of Teachers, which is an AFT local, American Federation of Teachers, and I was very disappointed to see that the president of our union, Randy Weingarten, decided to, in the name of platforming like responsible Republicans or whatever, like in the teachers union journal, the American Educator gave space to Bill Kristol to essentially make a case against fascism or whatever because he's a reasonable Republican, despite the fact that he's been the biggest war hawk that has ever existed. He never saw a war he didn't like. And it's just like one of these sorts of like the never Trump Republican, inviting in the vampires that are these like never Trump Republicans who you like literally cannot trust. They like literally believe all the stuff that Trump says. They just don't like the aesthetic of it all.
They don't like the. They want to sit with me.
Ones.
Yeah, they want me to. They still want to be. They want to go to Coachella and they want to go to like the Met Gala. And
I would rather deal with the Marjorie Taylor Greens and
Absolutely.
these people because
100%.
at least she's gonna be crazy and unhinged and straight up fascist in a lot of ways. But at least you know what she's trying to do,
right.
And you can and like I really get frustrated and really get annoyed when liberals sort of align with people who have the exact same positions, the exact same politics as these people, but they have a different, like a more soft demeanor about it, and they're sort of like the affable. Oh, I'm the war criminal you can hang out with. You know what I mean?
No. No, they're the worst.
So sorry, we got to dunk tank Randy on this one.
No, let's do that. I have no patience for it. I'm too old. I'm too old to be playing with these people. I don't. These. Honestly, it's like historically you see, and I hate to boil everything down to Godwin's law, like everything goes back to Nazis or Hitler or whatever. But it's like, you look at the Weimar Republic, and this is exactly.
Can I just say, by the way,
we're in better shape than they are, but we are going down that road of just like liberals placating to fascists. Go ahead.
I just want to say that, like, that whole instinct of like, oh, you mentioned Hitler first in a conversation, so you lose or whatever. Yeah. Like, when you're actually talking about what happens here in these kinds of situations, and like the rejoinder by the other side is you just can't ever talk about the Hitler stuff. Right. Like, that's just a way of shutting down a conversation without any kind of without any meaning. And like I understand if people are like demagoguing and misapplying these sort of lines and saying like, oh, me and you and I are in an argument. Well, you're Hitler. Like, that's different than like actually like analyzing the time in the space of these sorts of things.
It's just because
it's stuff that really happened.
The analogies are just too perfect. You have a crumbling empire. Whose infrastructure is crumbling. Retracting empire with crumbling infrastructure. You have an aggressive, racist, sexist political wing, and then you have liberals who just allow them to run roughshod over norms.
And you have spiraling inequality critically. And again, the one thing that the liberals and the conservatives in this country share is their economic position.
Yes. 100%.
They're leaving working people behind because it's in their mutual material interest to advance the project that we currently have. Well, anyway, as time kind of winds down, I did want to once again, if the weather holds up, invite folks.
Looks like it's not, but
it might not hold up. But Democratic Socialists of America, New Orleans, are holding a barbecue today out at City Park. Check our social media for more information on that. You can also check me out on Twitter at Eminent Prof. Catch Robert at Comrade Morning. Follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Good Morning Comrade Radio. Thanks to everybody for listening. Anything on the way out, Robert?
No, I'm good.
All right. We love you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Jobs.
What do they got to lose?
Well, we're going to organize. Is that